Welcome to 12-Minute Talks, where important information is shared in a short time period. Learn from other business owners, entrepreneurs, and experts about what they do to help you find solutions to everyday topics in 12 minutes or less. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast. I'm excited to have with us today Precious Swain-Peaks. She's the founder of Anointed For Prosperity. It's an accounting business that she's been in the industry for over 30 years. And they offer full service accounting, payroll, tax preparation, and much more. Precious, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor to be on with you. Yes, we offer full service bookkeeping, payroll services, remote notary services, which is new to our area and down here in Florida.
Yeah.
And right now, the biggest push that we have going on is helping customers and even businesses that didn't use us throughout the season to take advantage of the EIDL and the PPP with the Small Business Association.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'm sure you've been bombarded with a whole bunch of questions about that. How do I fill out the paperwork and all this stuff, right? So
Yeah.
so before we get into more details about that, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in accounting?
Well, I come from a family that always was in business. I've never really known them to work outside of it. And I had an aunt that I grew up under that was the accountant for the family business. So I always wanted to do what my auntie did. And so I would sit up on top of the counter with little index cards and draw the little T's. This is 100 years ago, way before the QuickBooks era. and fill out the journal and the balance sheets and everything. And so when I graduated high school, I went ahead and went to school, and my major was accounting. And it was just on from there.
Fantastic. So that's good to have aunts that are good influences, and you,
Yeah.
you had the experience there with the ledgers and all of that, and I'm sure nowadays new accountants have no idea how to do stuff manually, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, everything is QuickBooks and Excel. I don't know if they use that still, but definitely.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so Precious, I'm sure you've been very busy with personal tax preparation since they've given extensions and everything like that. How can business owners out there benefit from these types of loans?
Well, I think if it does nothing else, it establishes a relationship with the Small Business Association, which so many, especially minority businesses, do not have. And so many businesses struggled during the COVID because they weren't prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be very honest, small businesses are kind of like personal people. They really don't prepare in advance for financial hardship to hit. And so it really has helped a lot of people be able to stay afloat, keep their businesses open.
Definitely. Yeah, I've heard some success stories, reading some articles here and there. And so why is it important for a business owner to develop a relationship with the SBA, the Small Business Administration?
For one, because later, if you want to grow or you want to expand and you want to get larger funding, you want to go through them and help them deal with the lender, have them help you to find the correct lenders for what you're doing, any grants that may be available. In addition to that, a lot of business owners don't know that they offer seminars and classes for free to help the business owners grow and develop and move to the next level of business. Most of them have, before COVID, there was a lot of different places where you could just go into their different hubs and get a wealth of knowledge. Now with COVID, you have to do a lot of stuff online, but it's still available, and it saves a lot of money in the long run.
Definitely. You see, I had no idea that having a partnership with the SBA might help later on, for people looking to get additional funds or like the classes that they offer. That's interesting. And so, what is the other one, the EIDL, that I feel like they don't talk as much about that one. Is that for like certain industries, or anybody can
No.
apply for that?
It's actually open to all industries, and that's pretty much where your application goes straight to the SBA versus going into Bank of America or Wells Fargo and applying directly through them. It gives you a little wiggle room. It gives the credit score rating. They look at your credit score, but it doesn't have to be as high. And if you don't qualify for the loan, you can still get the grant. Where if you go directly into your private lender, the loan is available, but the grant isn't. So I really encourage people to look at the options. And for some people, it may not work at all. And for some businesses, if they've never filed their taxes for their business or they haven't set up a proper structure for their business, they may get denied. But look at that denial letter and just fix whatever is wrong. So the next time something comes along, your business is structurally sound.
Yeah, I think that that's really important. A lot of times business owners, we just Google stuff, right? And we're like, oh, well, Google said we should be a C Corp or an S Corp or whatever, right? Without really thinking about the structure, like you mentioned. And it could lead to things like that, but it could also be a good wake-up call for that business to,
Yeah.
like you said, to put things in order. So is that something that you help people with their businesses as far as deciding what type of structure to do?
Yes, that's part of our business consulting area. And we sit down and we look at the pros and cons of each thing, because right now social media has everybody thinking they should be a LLC. If
Hmm.
you're not ready, stay a sole proprietor and gain ground, because once you hop out and become an LLC, most states have an annual fee every year of over $100 that you have to pay to remain an LLC. So you don't want to start one and then miss a year and it shows you inactive. It's easier when you're beginning your business and your funding is a little low. It's okay to be a sole proprietor. And a lot of people thought that they couldn't get loans or grants as a sole proprietor. But the SBA actually did give sole proprietors and independent contractors grants and loans in this situation because they are considered a business.
Right, right. So yeah, I mean that is like I always say, it's best to make an informed decision and not go
Mhm.
based on what your friends or family or the news, right? Whatever they're saying. Find professionals like Precious here who knows what she's talking about. I think 30 years of experience in one industry, you gain a lot of information that is useful in these types of situations as well. Um, and one last question here about taxes, because we want to make this an interesting conversation, and I think it has been valuable as well. What about payroll? Is that something people should hire an accountant for? Should they do it on their own? Um, what's your opinion there?
It just kind of depends. If they're proficient with their QuickBooks or their Peachtree or whatever they're using, and they just really can't afford to pay somebody else to do it, by all means, take that route. But if you don't know, get help,
Mm-hmm.
because it's easier to get help and have it right than to get penalized later and have some type of fine or fee that you have to pay. Because another huge mistake people make is everybody, to save having to pay the taxes, wants all their employees to be independent contractors, not realizing now this independent contractor has to somebody still got to pay these taxes. The
Mm-hmm.
taxes aren't going away, and that they still have to file 1099s for them the same way they would have to do W-2s, or you don't have a way to legitimately write off that you spent that money. So I encourage anyone, even if you feel like you can't afford it, I don't know. I know our company does free consultation. So we'll sit down with you for an hour for totally free and look and go through whatever and give you a plan. Now, if you can't afford the plan or you don't want to purchase the plan, that's fine. Figure out how to do it yourself. That's fine. We encourage that. But at least know what you should do. Take advantage if you see people offering free consultations. Get a foundation, know what you need to do next.
Exactly. Yeah. Take, what are the next steps? I see that often when you mentioned people that are like 1099, or because a lot of companies, at least here in Florida, they like to pay people 1099, but they don't realize that at the end, and I see a lot of people that, like, at the end it looks like they only made $5,000, $7,000, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You're telling any creditor out there that you live on $5,000 or $7,000 of net
Yeah.
income, and I see that a lot because I do health insurance. So I tell them,
Okay.
the government asks for proof of income, and we can't send in your taxes because yes, you made 30,000, but you're only paying taxes on $5,000, right? So, and then families don't realize how that affects them in the long run, right? For like retirement and things
Yeah.
like that. A lot of people complain, oh, my social security check is only, this much, and I worked here 30, 40 years. And I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but how much were you reporting? You can't, a lot of people, they don't want to pay taxes or pay as little as possible. And I'm like, no, like, you can't have it both ways,
Yeah.
at least that's what I've noticed on the individual or the family side, right? Not just for businesses. Um, and so, Precious, this has been great information. How can somebody get a hold of you and take advantage of that free consultation that you guys offer?
If they go to www.anointedforprosperity.com, they can either send a message or schedule a consultation. And if they mention that they heard it on the show, we'll give them 2 hours instead of one.
Fantastic. You can't beat a 2-for-1 there. Um,
Exactly.
And I just wanted to quickly introduce myself for those of you that don't know who I am. My name's Lorena Tomasini, and I'm the owner of Mom Life and Health Insurance Agency, where together with my mom, we help families and businesses with their financial protection needs, all done digitally. And Precious, it's been great having you on. I do have one last question for you.
Mhm.
What would you say is a good productivity tip that you can give the listeners?
This is the one thing I would suggest for anybody. If you are you a sole proprietor or an independent contractor, quarterly, just pay into your Social Security, pay into your federal. Start saving it to the side. We make sacrifices for vacations, for hair, for nails, for everything else. Make sacrifices for your future because that Social Security later down the line, remember, there's no 401k really if you're an independent contractor. Unless you're going to hop in and start buying stocks and set up a retirement fund, which I suggest, at least pay into your Social Security. And if you're a business owner, whether you're new or aged, take pride in your business. Try something new every day.
I love that. Yeah, always think a lot of times people lack pride in what they do. And I think it's important, it goes down all the way to customer service. Um,
Mhm.
Precious, it's been great having you on. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I just want you to have an amazing day.
Thank you for listening to this podcast and hope you will listen to the next one. I'm Lorena Tomasini, and you can contact me via email life@malmins.com. Make it a great day.